All right, we are filming a dissection of a flower of Leucojum. Leucojum is a bulb in the Amaryllidaceae. The flowers normally kind of dangle downward like this. But before we start pulling apart the flower, let's go ahead and look and see what we can see from the flower just by looking at it. First of all, we can see that there are 6 tepals. We call them tepals when they're all the same. We don't really distinguish petals and sepals here. The sepals and petals are the same, so we call them tepals. Each one is white with a little green dot. Notice this thickened area right here. This is the ovary. The ovary is inferior. It is below the attachment of the tepals and the anthers, or the stamens. We'll get to that in just a minute. So inferior ovary. We can also say that the symmetry of the flower is radial symmetry. It is actinomorphic. In other words, you can draw a line and get a mirror image in a million different ways. Okay, so it's actinomorphic or radially symmetrical. Now let's go ahead and start pulling apart the flower, and I'm just going to start pulling apart the tepals one by one, and we'll just break them off. So I'm doing the outer whorl first, and if they were green and small, we'd call them sepals, but they're the same as the petals, so we'll call them tepals. These are the inner tepals. And we can see now the array of stamens. There are 6 stamens here, a very narrow thread-like filament, which is the stalk, and then the yellow anthers, which have the yellow pollen that they are releasing. If we go ahead and start pulling off the anthers one by one, you can see that there are indeed 6 of them. And 2 more. I'll get them both at the same time. There we go. All right. So now we're left with just this long style and the stigma on top. And that's, of course, we collectively call this female part of the flower the gynecium. Now I'm going to use a razor blade, and I'm going to do a section through the ovary. And I'm going to do a cross section or a transverse section. So we'll just cut it across the main line or the main axis. If we look at it end on, and I don't know how easy it is to see there, but there are 3 chambers. The chambers are filled with what are going to become the seeds. So those are the ovules. There are 3 chambers there, because these are 3 fused carpels. 3 carpels that are fused together, and each carpel is made for a chamber. Yeah, so we can see there's a little immature ovule right there, and that would become the seed at maturity. So there you go. There's our dissection of Leucojum in the Amaryllidaceae, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.